Yes. Ketone sucks.
Yeah. All right, look. Tom, are you ready?
Yeah.
When I was just a kid, children, my mommy used to sing a song. Now I grow to be a man. Where's the living within my soul? Within my soul. This train is back to glory. This train is bound to glory. This train is bound to glory. This train don't carry no one. This train is bound to glory.
Read this.
Thank you so much. Oh, wait. Oh, shit.
So cool.
Wow, this is going to be a strong baby.
All right. Hello, YouTube. Eslam says, hello, notification squad. Everybody gets notifications. Michael, Keto with Honey Bunny. Wait, Keto with Honey Bunny, did you change your name? I thought you had a different name recently. Or am I wrong? Am I mixing you up with someone with the keto name from yesterday? Kick-Ass Keto. Is that the same person? All right. What's going on? John C. wins the awesome comment of the night / day / morning or whatever. John C. says, hello from Bay Area, Cali, which means he's probably not actually from California, but he lives there. Because nobody that's actually from California says Cali. Sorry, guys. They don't. It just does. That's not how it goes. It says fires 50% or more contained, but air quality sucks. I have 5 HEPA air filters running throughout my home right now. Wife just gave birth to our baby girl. Dude. That's so cool. Hey, John C. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. So, all right. Vivian, what's up, Vivian? Who else? Eslam, John C., Michael Weisenhower, Keto with Honey Bunny, Weldon James, Mountain Mama from Upper Cumberland. Where's Upper Cumberland? Vivian says, hey, from Trinidad. The island? Right on. Brenda Louise, what's up? Alejandro Diaz, what's up? Alejandro Diaz, your opinion on food. Don't do it. Haven't done it in 10 years. Do what you got to do. Do what you want to do. But my opinion, microwaving food is, I don't know, if you like turning your cheese into plastic, that's, yeah. But I mean, microwaves, I think they deteriorate the nutritional quality of foods. I think they're incredibly dangerous for human health in general. Actually, if you look at some of the MK Ultra sub projects, microwaves have been used as weapons since the 1940s at least. Highly dangerous to human health. Sebastian Lazarte in Peru. What's up, man? We're in Peru. We are in Ecuador. Your neighbors to the north. Isn't it funny how like Ecuadorians and Peruvians, there's like some real bad blood there. If you ask Ecuadorians what they think of Peruvians, they'll tell you they're terrible. And if you ask Ecuadorians what they think of Colombians, they'll also tell you they're terrible. It's really funny. Peruvians probably think lowly of Ecuadorians as well, right? We're in the south of Ecuador here, so we're a stone's throw away, man. I mean, I can see Peru. I could see. We look over 3 mountains to the south. That is Peru. So we can see you. It takes 4 hours to drive across these rugged mountains. Monique Rodriguez de Brasilia. What's up, Monique? My take on extended fasts. Extended fasts can be useful. Should be done for the right reasons rather than just aesthetic purposes, right? If you're going to be fasting, if you're going to be depriving yourself of food for a long period of time, this is a profound experience. The first time you fast longer than 24 hours can be an incredibly deeply moving and challenging, but also kind of like a spiritual experience. I mean, that's why every single spiritual tradition in the world, time immemorial, uses fasting as a way to contact other realms, to heal the body, and to bring about revelation. So yeah, I think extended fasting is powerful, and I think in the wrong hands, it can be dangerous, just like anything, just like any drug, right? So yeah, I mean, people doing extended fasting with a history of disordered eating, I don't know, man. It's like, look, a lot of the individuals who are promoting fasting right now, I'm just thinking of one in particular, not the best example, not very exemplar of healthy eating habits, healthy mind state about food and diet. And I think that it's really irresponsible that some of these individuals are promoting fasting. But hey, fasting is a really amazing and powerful tool. Just, wield it with care, because you're going to enter into a state where you're highly sensitive, also maybe even more suggestible. When you're very receptive, like that state when you're in a fasted state, yeah, very, very perceptive and perhaps suggestible and super sensitive to your environment. So if you got like a really hard job or something like that, might not be the best idea to extend fast. David Meyerless, what's up, man? David Meyerless says, be blessed with you and your family, and thank you for the amazing information. What's your opinion on a keto diet fats based on nuts, seeds, lower saturated fat intake, higher mono/poly? Okay, so keto based around nuts, seeds, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fat. Polyunsaturated fats are highly oxidized, or highly oxidative, can be really, really damaging to the body, especially omega-6. Like omega-3 fatty acids, everybody knows about the benefits of that. Those are a polyunsaturated fatty acid, but they're not an energy source. You don't oxidize those for energy. Omega-6, you don't want to assimilate a bunch of omega-6 into your cell membranes. Now, we use some almond flour in recipes, and it's a nice thing to use every once in a while, but using polyunsaturated fats as the main source of fat is not a good idea for health, for longevity. I mean, you look at any of the research on inflammation, omega-6 fatty acids, not the best idea. Monounsaturated fats, hey, great. Mediterranean style diet, heavy in the monounsaturated fats, with some saturated fats, lots of fish and vegetables. So, Mediterranean style diet is more high in monounsaturated fats. Everyone knows the benefits of olive oil. Really good stuff. Avocados, great. Macadamia nuts. Those are low in PUFA, the polyunsaturated fatty acids, and they're high in monos. So these are great foods, but I think anytime we get into like extreme territories of omega-6 fatty acids and even like nuts and seeds because of anti-nutrients and stuff like that, it just might not be ideal. But hey, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your pickle. Brian Street, what's up, man? Frederick says it's 3 a.m. in the Philippines. Get to sleep, Frederick. What are you doing? G-Pal says, hello from the great state of Oklahoma. Right on. Truly, Really says, just started watching your videos. Super helpful. Thank you. Well, thank you, Truly, Really. Let's see. Where's some questions? Kevin says, love your live shows. I've struggled in the past with keto, but I've been back on it for a week now, and the headaches are gone, and I'm loving it. You keep me motivated. Thank you so much. Keep it up. Well, thank you. Where's the questions? All right. How's everybody over in the UK? What happened with that hurricane? Is that done? I hope everyone's all right over there. Robert Mills doing low carb, high fat for 2 months, down 40 pounds. What's up, Ariel? How's it going? How you feeling today, Ariel? Ariel is a current client. From the hello with 3 exclamation points and the 3 hearts, I assume you're feeling and doing well today. How's the breathing going, huh? Could be a game changer, can it? All right, Robert says, doing low carb, high fat for 2 months. Down 40 pounds, 100 pounds to go. When would be a good time to introduce intermittent fasting? What length of fasting is best for weight loss? Robert Mills. Dude, you're down 40 pounds in 2 months. That's amazing. You got 100 pounds to go. That's so rad. All right, man. Robert Mills, do you have a copy of our first book, The Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low-carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine? You got a copy of that? John C., comment here, Robert Mills, if you got a copy of that. John C. says, once someone hits weight loss / fat goals, do you still recommend 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass and protein? Yes, totally. I mean, you could do with less. You could do with more, but that's a safe level of protein intake that can apply to everybody across the board. 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass is enough protein. Eslam says, I went downhilling last week while fasting and I ate shit. You ate shit. That's not fasting. You're saying you fell. But thanks to my helmet, I'm here.
Gross.
Why do I feel I can do anything, but when I do it, I can't even tuck properly and can't control speed wobbles? Yeah. It's called not being invincible.
You want to see what I made?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first of all, we've got a Ryder right here. Dude, what are you doing?
Growing teeth.
Growing teeth?
Being awesome.
You got boogers on your nose.
Mm-hmm.
Ryder and I have both had a stuffy nose the last few days. We got weather changes going on here. All right, let's see. What is
First,
this?
Ryder just helped me put the pumpkin seeds in the dehydrator. We're soaking and sprouting pumpkin seeds for our pumpkin seed chocolate cupcakes.
Ooh, all right. So this is a recipe from the book that's about to be released on Friday, right?
Yes.
And you just perfected it.
Oh.
All right, Jessica just perfected this recipe.
Minute change.
Last minute. She made a last minute inspired change on the recipe after being inspired by our friends over at Keto Connect, who we just talked to this morning on Skype, and we talked about recipes and stuff. They gave the tip on using a little bit of gelatin to make it a little bit more chewy. Yeah. I think they put a video out like yesterday about it. And so Jessica made a last minute change to one of these recipes. She was like, it was the only cookie recipe in this book that I was kind of iffy about. She tried it with a little bit of gelatin and it made them all like gooey. Check it out. These are, it's kind of hard to see. What's in these?
This is a blackberry lime cookie, which I made an adaptation because on Saturday at the local organic market here, somebody sold me some limon mandarinas. So it's like a lemon mandarin, this special fusion citrus tree that they grow. So I made a substitution with that and the blackberries, almond flour, coconut flour, eggs, a little bit of coconut oil.
So they're like a blackberry cookie with like a lemon zest.
Yes, that's it.
A blackberry lemon zest keto cookie made with almond flour.
And now
they're like ridiculously good.
Yeah.
All right. I just one bite.
Better wants one. We're gonna go eat downstairs.
Oh yeah. Wow. That was so good. All right. So, when you say lean body mass, do you mean ideal body weight? Sydney says, can I have a cookie? Yeah, you make your own cookie. She used gelatin in these ones. There's also a bunch of recipes that she was using collagen in to give stuff like more of a chewy texture and moist texture, rather. Well, the gelatin brings the chew. So shout out to Keto Connect, who are really awesome people, for inspiring Jessica to make a last minute change on one of these recipes. Let me blow my nose real quick.
got you bottled water.
Ooh, and I got some water. All right. So, John C. says, release the book today.
Tomorrow, free bag.
All right. We got a special announcement today. Tomorrow, just for the people who are watching right now, just for the individuals who are on our newsletter list, we are going to allow you to pre-purchase the book tomorrow before it's properly released, which is Friday. So Friday is the release date, but we're going to allow you to purchase the book tomorrow. So if you go to the website, Primal Edge, Jessica will tell you how to do it. How do you do it?
Well, let's say tomorrow after 12, what are we, CST?
Mm-hmm.
12 CST, the product page will be up. It'll be password protected. So if you enter in the password love life, lowercase, all one word, you'll have your unique access.
We should make it Primal Edge Health.
All right.
Sorry, Primal Edge Health, because that's what we do for all the coupon things. Sorry, smashed your idea.
It's okay.
Coupon code Primal Edge Health. We're going to send out a newsletter with a link, the top secret link, to where you can get the ultimate guide to low carb baking.
So you can visit our website and sign up for the newsletter on the front page.
So go to primaledgehealth.com, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get a notification tomorrow, and you'll be able to pre-buy it. And we'll send you your digital copy.
And I want to see what everybody's making. I want to see, tag us on Instagram. I want to see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, tag us with your pictures and shout us out when you make these recipes and show us what's up. Is Ryder pooping? He's peeing on you. Ah! All right. Lean body mass is your total body mass minus your fat mass. It's your fat-free mass. All right. What's up now? All right, we were talking about intermittent fasting, right? When should I start? Should I start intermittent fasting? You're down 40 pounds, 100 pounds to go. Robert Mills says he doesn't have a copy of the first book. Robert Mills, you're down 40 pounds. You got 100 pounds to go. As you've probably already noticed, it's all about habit formation, right? So when we get overweight, we're eating a diet that is low in nutrient density, but high in calorie density. We can have really poor habits concerning food prep. So, as you probably noticed, it's really important to prepare your own food. On a ketogenic diet, one of the most important things for ensuring your long-term success is having a solid foundation of simple, easy meals that you can rotate and eat all of the time. So, we got to form a nice, solid foundation of habits of preparing nutrient-dense foods and eating nutrient-dense foods that fulfill us, getting enough protein, fats, and veggies. That's how simple keto is. You're eating protein, fats, and vegetables in sufficient quantities to reduce your hunger, to increase your satiety. And it's all about preparing food for yourself and learning how to prepare food for yourself. So I want to hook you up, man. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? What was his name again? Robert Mills. Put your email address right here in the little live chat, and I'm going to email you a copy of the Ketogenic Edge Cookbook, a training manual for low carbohydrate, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. I hope this helps you on your journey. I'm stoked for you, man. 40 pounds down in 2 months. That's an insane amount of weight for 2 months. You got 100 pounds left to go. So you got a good year ahead of you of fat loss. Now, a good time to introduce intermittent fasting. Well, you're a male, so, with women, it can be a little bit sketchy. Women tend to have a harder time with the stress hormone production from intermittent fasting. You're a male, you got 100 pounds to lose. Intermittent fasting is probably a tool you would want to use. But the way I teach it, and you'll actually find that this works really, really well. The way I teach it is inverted. Actually, what I would say is the way that most people teach it is inverted from the way that we should be doing it. People make the assumption that skipping breakfast is the way to go. But when you look at all the research on diabetes, on blood glucose control, on satiety, on the hormonal flux and the circadian rhythm of when we get hungry, when we make certain hormones, when we're ready to digest, when we need to rest and sleep, when you look at this research, you realize that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Breakfast is super important for blood glucose control. Breakfast is super important also because they've done studies. They gave people equal calories throughout the day, same protein level and everything, but the people who ate earlier in the day lost more body fat than the people who ate late in the day. Really, really interesting stuff. So eat breakfast when you're doing intermittent fasting. Start out, eat breakfast within an hour of waking up. Get outside. Get some natural light on your eyes. Enjoy the benefits of actually setting your circadian rhythm with a natural light cycle around you, right? So we go outside, the light hits our eye, it goes through what's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is an insanely funny word. Straight out of Star Trek. The suprachiasmatic nucleus tells us, the suprachiasmatic nucleus sets our internal clock. That's the master clock of the body that sets the hormonal rhythm, tells us in the morning to make cortisol. Cortisol rises in the morning. Cortisol is not bad in and of itself. It's required. When cortisol goes up and it's up for an extended period of time, we can get catabolic. We don't want to get too catabolic. We want to blunt that cortisol response by getting a meal in first thing in the morning. So if you're going to intermittent fast, my friend, try skipping the last meals of the day. Eat your meals between the hours of like 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. and see how it works. But if you got 100 pounds to lose, it might be a good time to start using intermittent fasting. And yeah. So where's your email, man? Give me your email. I want to hook you up with a book. Hurry up before your comments are swallowed up by the hundreds of other comments and questions that people are throwing out. All right. What's going on here? Sydney says it wasn't much of a hurricane here in London. Wales had it quite bad, lost 3 people. Anyways, notice Jessica has a recipe for pemmican. Do you have any ideas for keto backpacking / traveling? That's a great question. I want to bring on a former client of mine for a hangout to talk about his experience doing like a 21-day sheep hunt in Alaska, full keto. And I helped him develop a plan of storable, packable food to bring with him. And pemmican was pretty much the main deal. He was living on pemmican, brought some nut butters, coconut oil, cheeses, dried meats. But pemmican, which is an old Native American recipe, and the recipe, Jessica's super awesome recipe for pemmican, is in the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, the training manual for low-carb, ketogenic paleo cuisine. And it's on our website for free. There you go. So you don't even have to buy the cookbook to get the special pemmican recipe. Pemmican is an incredible food. When they would make a kill, the Plains Indians in the United States, current United States, the Plains Indians would kill a buffalo and strip its hide out. They'd make a big bag out of its hide, and in that hide, they'd put this thing over a fire, and they'd melt all the fat. And they'd have this big thing full of all the fat. They'd take the lean cuts of meat, dry them out in the sun, grind them up with a mortar and pestle, pour that melted fat into like a plate or a mold, and let it sit and dry. They would also add dried berries and herbs, medicinal spices and stuff like that, and honey also. But we've modified the recipe to be super low carb and have no honey, and it's super good. Oh, wow. Jessica just mentioned traditionally the Indians didn't use honey. That actually came upon later, probably when they were trading with the French fur traders and the British fur traders, because the Europeans were all about them sugars and sweets. How interesting is that? Robert Mills, what's your email, dude? You want a copy of the book or not, Robert? All right. Oh, there it is. Robert, there you go. All right, Robert. I want to send you that email right now so that I can move on and talk to some other people. So I hope that helps, Robert. Intermittent fasting, you got 100 pounds to lose. IF might be a great way to go about it. All right. Have a great day is the title of the email, and you've got your download link right now for your copy of the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, dude. So enjoy it. Copy link. This is very complicated. All right. Giotto Short says, hey, Tristan, how are you? I wanted to ask, do you find that fish tends to be more satiating than other sources of protein? Of course, it depends on context, but I found this to be the case. Oh, man, fish is incredible. Fish is so no problem, Robert. Enjoy it, man. Did you organize the taxi? No, that's your job. I'm not doing anything to do with that. All right. Fish being the most satiating source of protein. It's already been there for like an hour now. Called Teo. Fish is, I don't know about satiating. I don't know if you could if it would be more satiating across the board. But what fish does have is highly assimilable and digestible amino acid profile that's not conducive to big blood sugar rises. Fish also contains DHA and EPA, both of which inhibit glycolytic enzymes, meaning both of them inhibit glycolysis, meaning they'll promote fat burning. So fish and seafood is also loaded with selenium and iodine, which make you feel amazing, which help detoxify the body of halides and heavy metal. So yeah, I mean, as far as being the most satiating, I don't know if it's like fish gram for gram is more satiating than beef. I don't know if I necessarily say that, but yeah, it's really good. Let's see, Pemmican. Mountain Mama says Pemmican. Yeah, Pemmican's incredible. That's in the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, and it's the recipe's available for free on our website. And Pemmican's incredible travel food. Let's see. The Causation says, do you like Jordan Peterson? I don't know him. I've heard his stuff. I don't know the guy. Do I like him? I mean, I like some of the things he has to say. Do I agree with his analysis on everything? Do I agree with his submission to the neo-Darwinist, religious paradigm? Not really. I mean, there's certain things that he says that I think are right on about self-responsibility and stuff. And he's a clever dude. But yeah, I don't agree with him on everything. It's like, why? I don't know. The neo-Darwinism stuff and the social Darwinism, social programming stuff that he buys into and takes as fact. I'm not sure if he really buys into it. I mean, if he's clever enough to actually realize that it is theological. Darwinism is theology. I'm not sure if he has gone that far in his thought process on it yet. I'd love to talk to him about those things. But yeah, he deserves some attention just for what he's bringing attention to. And I think he's got some good things to say. But like, what's with the submission to this nonsense Darwinist ideas? All right, Giota Shorts, what's up? Ty Jacobs, what's up, man? Robert Mills, right on. La, 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 la. Does that copper beaker make your water taste better? Asks Tristan, who has a fantastic name. Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Yeah, it does give it a different taste. I would say yes, sure. My copper cup makes water taste better. Alex Bakova says, thanks so much for all the helpful content. All the way from Prague, Czech Republic. That's so cool. The Czech Republic. Michelle says, do you fast? Every night until I wake up in the morning. Does that copper... All right, Ariel Sanford says, this is off topic and maybe a question for Jessica. But do you think birth control pills are harmful? Yeah, super harmful. Super harmful. Yeah, no, I mean, this is insane. They're giving birth control pills to little girls for acne before they even get acne. It's insane. Like orthotricycline and these things. Incredibly dangerous. Can cause all kinds of bacterial imbalances, candida overgrowth. Yeah, I think birth control is... No, these birth control pills... Very, very harmful. How are you supposed to track your cycles? Jessica, how are you supposed to track your cycles?
I can't answer that.
It's too much. You're talking about a lot of deep stuff. Good question, Ariel. Let's see.
But there's certain things you can...
Ariel says, that's why I started on. They put me on that Depo shot at 17. Yeah, Depo, what was it called? Depo Provera or whatever. No, I mean, this is the transhumanist agenda. Right? The gender bender agenda. The gender bender agenda. No, I'm not a fan. Super dangerous in my opinion. There's loads of information out there on the dangers of birth control pills, on just the negative health consequences of them. And this is it's women's liberation. It's liberating women. How's this liberating women? This is insane. I mean, all this is backwards, right? Down is up is down. Let the TV give you reality. But Yeah, no, the gender bending hormones, the it's crazy. Tristan, how many carbs per meal to avoid insulin spikes? All right, well, everybody's going to have a different insulin response because we've all got different basal insulin levels. Ariel Sanford says it doesn't feel liberating. Don't you think women's liberated? Come on. You were liberated from the bondages of getting to procreate and have children and like a loving family and stuff. Now you get to go to work in offices and chase the dollar. I mean, that's liberating. Now the family's gone. The kids are in the state-run schools, the brainwashed education schools, and the women and the men get to go to work to pay taxes. That's women's liberation. Rockefeller funded women's liberation movement. Down is up is down. 1984. All right. How many carbs per meal to avoid insulin spikes? That's going to be different in different contexts, right? So somebody who's eating much less food, eating on a restricted eating window might have more carbs per meal. Basal insulin levels and levels of insulin resistant are going to determine how much insulin is released. So it just comes down to context, and I can't assume your context, nor do I really care to throw out 100 different contexts because, lots of different things will affect basal insulin levels, including sleep quality. Okay. Brian says, if you aren't eating hardly any carbohydrates, eating meat, veggies, have loads of energy, not hungry all the time, then you're in ketosis. Weldon James says, what's the easiest, best way to see if you're in ketosis? The easiest, best way, the only way to really know that you're technically in ketosis is through measuring your blood ketones. But here's another question. What does it mean that you're in ketosis? What does it matter if you're in ketosis? And why are you concerned with being in ketosis? Because first, you want to understand this. If you are trying to lose body fat, ketones don't mean fat loss, right? Actually, high blood ketones is the best way to stop the burning of body fat. Let me repeat that. High blood ketones is one of the best ways to stop the burning of body fat. For those of you who want a deeper look into this, check out Chris Masterjohn. Chris Masterjohn, what a great name, right? Chris Masterjohn. I'm not going to make jokes about your name. It's good. I like it. Chris Masterjohn's got some cool podcasts. One of them was put out recently, or it might just be a video on his YouTube or something. But it's all about how ketones inhibit lipolysis. And I've talked about this before as well. There's studies that have shown that higher blood ketones inhibits the breakdown of further fatty acids. Because if you have a high level of ketones in your blood, your body is not going to make more of those ketones. So here's one question too. If you're on a carbohydrate-based diet, you're burning glucose for energy. Are you measuring your blood glucose and thinking that it's good if your blood glucose levels are super high? No. There's a narrow bandwidth that you want to be within. So super high, super elevated ketones don't make you lose body fat, but also super high elevated ketones don't make everybody feel that good. Sometimes people feel all wired and weird on super high ketone levels. So you're doing keto to get rid of diabetes. No longer diabetic. Weight loss is stopped. All right. So you've lost weight doing keto, maybe not tracking anything. That's fantastic. I mean, you've found a way to eat. You've adapted to it. You've hopefully made it your new baseline habit. Now, when you're trying to lose body fat and you're on a ketogenic diet, fat is your energy source, right? So it's a high fat diet, but that high fat stuff can be really confusing to people. And chasing ketones or guzzling coconut oil, drinking cups of butter, unfortunately doesn't make us lose more body fat. We can burn fat in a ketogenic diet really well. And that fat can come from your plate, or that fat can come from your belly and your love handles. So if you want to burn the fat from the belly and the love handles, we don't want as much fat on the plate. Once we reach close to our goal weight, we will have more fat on the plate. So Weldon, I hope that helps, man. Don't chase ketones. Be concerned with your results. Don't worry about, I mean, yes, I just said the only way to know if you're in ketosis is blood ketone levels. But what does it matter if you're in ketosis? Higher ketones doesn't mean more fat loss. More ketones doesn't mean better metabolic health, doesn't mean really anything. In the beginning of a ketogenic diet, some people have really elevated blood ketones. But that's just because you're flooding your system with a fuel source and an energy substrate that you don't have the machinery to process. So you don't have the mitochondrial density to burn all that fat. Thus, your body's just dumping it out through your urine, and you have super elevated blood ketones. But then, after a while, after you adapt, you'll find that it stabilizes. The ketones will stay in a nice, stable range, and that range doesn't always have to be, this is like crazy elevated blood ketone range. Lots of people out there spouting lots of stuff. And there's lots of people out there listening to this stuff being spouted and chasing their tails, trying to get high blood ketones. Snoo World is laughing. It's like midichlorians, right? It's like it's just like that stupid corny scene in like one of the lamest films. People are going to hate me because I've been hating on Star Wars. I've done Star Wars rants before. You guys know my opinion on Star Wars. Corny. And that was Disney, right? Funny. But it's like the midichlorians, right? Like Qui-Gon Jinn like measures his midichlorian levels in his blood. And then that's like the only time they talked about midichlorians from the entire, 6 films there. There was no context for it at all. It was just like, you have the most amazing midichlorian levels I've ever seen. There's like no mention of it before in the previous films. Shaved Apes Makes Music says blasphemy. That's right. Blasphemy. I have blasphemed Star Wars. Come on, Star Wars is whack. You all know it. Like the first Star Wars, A New Hope, right? There was some really cool, interesting, like arty stuff in there. There was some cool concept stuff, and it was started out like an art film, right? Like some of the stuff in the first film was really good. But some of it was kind of corny too. Empire Strikes Back. Fantastic film, right? The ending, the hand getting cut off, Han Solo frozen in the ice. Now I'm not a nerd. Like I grew up on Star Wars. I watched them all like for years, and I thought they were amazing. But then I woke up and I realized it's like I've been under a spell. This is just what I was told that this is supposed to be good. And I actually watched it for myself, and I was just laughing at how corny it was, right? So the second film, what was it called? Empire Strikes Back. Fantastic. That was a great movie. Then I don't know who directed the third one, Return of the Jedi. Dude, Return of the Jedi is like the worst. Return of the Jedi is so bad. That movie is terrible. Go watch Return of the Jedi and try not to laugh your ass off every time Han Solo and Lando Calrissian give themselves those little effeminate looks and like they're like looking at each other and smiling like, oh Han, oh Lando. It's so bad. It's so corny. And then the ending it was horrible. Like, first of all, the Ewoks are like super lame. But then also the ending of that film, right? So you got Luke Skywalker. He's like, has this epic lineage of powers. Like his father was, high up Darksider, the hand of the king, the hand of the emperor. And the emperor's got lightning fingers, right? He's got lightning fingers. He can make things levitate. Luke Skywalker levitates the X-Wing fighter out of a giant pool. He levitates a golden robot in front of the Ewoks, and they think he's a god, and there's all this stuff. But in the final battle scene, how is the Emperor defeated? Well, Darth Vader picks him up over his head and drops him. The guy's got lightning fingers, ultimate dark side power, blah, 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 blah. Powerful wizard. Suplexed to death. Just dropped to death. So bad. So corny. The Emperor's got freaking lightning fingers. He's like frying Darth Vader with his lightning fingers. Like, I can feel it. How many times did they cut to Darth? Like, count the times they cut to Darth Vader. The editing is horrible on Return of the Jedi. They cut to Darth Vader's face like 100 times. He doesn't even have a face. It's just his going like this. His mask looking back and forth between Luke and the thing. And the Emperor's like, and he just picks him up and drops him. WWE style. He's just like that's it. End of the film. Dancing, fireworks. The Ewoks. Everything's happy. So funny. Shaved apes. Says I'm slamming Star Wars while talking to something that looks exactly like an interrogation droid. Interrogation droid. Come on, Star Wars. Shit was corny. All right. That's it. I won't bash Star Wars anymore. Dude, Return of the Jedi was my favorite movie as a child. It was my favorite movie. But it's like I watched it last year with Jessica, and it's just like, this is so bad. We were both just laughing at how corny it is. Yeah. All right, guys. All right, Ariel says, sorry, guys. You guys aren't here for my film reviews of everybody's favorite movie. Everyone's favorite movie is Star Wars. This is the thing with like Disney and Star Wars and stuff. People are just told that these are like the great movies. They're really not that great. You want a good sci-fi film? The original Blade Runner came out in 1982, same year as corny ass Return of the Jedi, and it was fantastic. Ariel Sanford says, I was literally named after Ariel the mermaid, and then later realized that Disney is so weird. Ariel, no, your name is spelled differently. You're Ariel, like you're in the air. Ariel, like aerial movements, aerial moves. Or like the System of a Down song. Ariel's in the sky. You weren't named after Ariel the mermaid. But yeah, Disney is whack, right? Trauma-based mind control programming for the kids. All right, you were saying something. Where'd your comments go, Ariel? What'd you say? I feel like my doctor didn't even know what keto was. He thought I was like Atkins. I told my doctor the other day I was stopping my metformin and going keto, and his mouth dropped. It was hilarious. He said he wouldn't advise it, but then he wanted to monitor my insulin levels. Yeah, watch your insulin levels drop. You know, there's no contraindication, though, between like metformin and keto. I know there's potential side effects and stuff from metformin, but as far as a pharmaceutical drug, metformin seems very safe when, you know, compared to other stuff. Giota Short says, have you watched any new films or any you'd like to talk about? And to add to that, what do you think about the potential of film as an art? Have you seen the films of Yasujiro Ozu? I have not, but I'm going to look up Yasujiro Ozu. Man, I mean, I haven't seen that many new films that I've been impressed with. I've always loved film as an art form. I started making movies when I was 12. I used to make stop animation movies with my friends, and we'd like draw a picture and then like do one shot. We cut pictures from. I wish I could find this tape. I looked for it for like a whole day. But I had these funny videos we made when I was like 13 with a high 8 camera, and we'd have to do stop motion, and we'd do the voices, and we use magazine cutouts because my mom would have like Glamour magazine and like Vogue and all these like whatever like there's like insecurity porn magazines for women, and we'd cut pictures out of them, and like we just did hilarious movies with those. I love film. Have I seen any new films? I don't know. I mentioned a film earlier when I was talking to somebody. One of these films that was really, really haunting and really well done is from the guy who made Kids, didn't he? What was that? Did he make Kids? What's that director's name? Anyways, it's this film called Spring Breakers. And it's a really dark film. It's like really, really dark, but it stars all these little Disney, like it's got Selena Gomez in it. And she plays this character called Faith. She hangs out with these other 2 girls, and they're in college, their first year of college. It's just about the broken American dream. It's a lot of stuff in that. James Franco's in that film, and he plays this hilarious but frightening character. Basically, he's like a Faustian character, but in the end, it turns out there's like this switcheroo where it turns out that the little girls are basically demons. it's just this crazy film called Spring Breakers, and on the surface, it was advertised as like the whole thing was hilarious because the trailers and stuff were trying to advertise it to the teeny boppers, right? To the like, you know, the Disney crowd, like the Justin Timberlake fans and stuff, or whoever was popular back then. It's like a few years ago. But it was like a bait and switch because it was basically just rubbing the culture's face in its own filth, just showing like the degradation of humanity and the human spirit and soul and innocence and faith and all this stuff through pop culture. And one of the best scenes in that movie is James Franco is in this room. And he's just like, he's got all his guns and he's like, look at all my shit. Look at all this shit. He's like, I got Scarface on repeat. He's like, I got dark tannin oil. he's like, I got the designer clothes, and it's just going off. He's got this like grill. He's like showing him all his guns, and there's just like, it's just like it's so hard to watch. And they had these like certain sex scenes in there that were so gross and hard to watch. I mean, the guy who made the film is obviously like demented. I'm pretty sure he's the guy who made Kids, which was really, really crazy film back in the day. No, maybe he didn't make Kids. I don't know. But anyways, that film Spring Breakers was haunting and crazy. And there's a scene they use this Britney Spears song, and like these girls are dancing around and they've got pink ski masks on with unicorns on the front of them. There's all this like esoteric symbols, really interesting stuff. And they're dancing around with guns. And this is like Britney Spears song. And it's just showing them robbing people, and just like, it's this crazy allegory for American culture, for it's just the loss of innocence and faith and humanity. And, you know, in the end, the little girls ended up being the most pure embodiments of evil. Like the little Disney girls. It wasn't Selena Gomez, it was the other two chicks. Selena Gomez was like left. Her character was called Faith, and she left. She wasn't down for all this stuff. She wanted to go home to her family. But these other two girls, they ended up just being pure, like just these pure embodiments of like demonic energy. And James Franco's character ends up dead in the end, I think. And they just end up cruising out in his vehicle. The two little girls, they leave in his vehicle, which, you know, obviously represents the body. You know, they're the spirits inhabiting the vehicle. That's what's driving it. Yeah, Spring Breakers, crazy film if you want to just have your mind screwed up. But there's a lot of like stuff there too. He's like, you don't want your kids watching that film. There's a lot of like, you know, darker themes in it, and messed up stuff. But yeah, that film comes to mind. That was a haunting one. I really liked The Place Beyond the Pines. That was a good one. Terrence Malick movies, the Tree of Life. Yeah. Tree of Life, fantastic. And also The Thin Red Line. I mean, that movie, and the scene in The Thin Red Line where it's like it's like it's a super long shot. I get all emotional just thinking about it. It's got this long shot, and it's they're on a ship about to hit Okinawa or one of these Japanese islands, and it's just showing all these guys about to go to war. And some of the dudes are just like crying, shaking, pissing themselves. Other guys are like, wow, like pumping each other up. It was so that movie, some of the visuals in there are just so amazing. The Thin Red Line, it came out the same year as Saving Private Ryan, a long time ago. That was one of my favorites. I don't know what other films I've liked lately. So anyways, that has nothing to do with what most of you probably came on here to hear about. Whatever. Okay. Okay. What is the best time of day to check my ketones? I just got a new meter in the mail this afternoon and checked it, showed 4.5. I think that seems high. Yeah, that's super high. I don't know. I mean, it's like, why are you so worried about your ketone levels, though? Ariel says my mom just changed it because she looked up Ariel in Hebrew or something. Right on. Frederick John Tang says Princess Leia scene in Return of the Jedi is the best, though. Are you just talking about when she's chained up by Jabba the Hutt? That's probably why I liked that movie so much when I was a kid. Just I thought she was like really hot or whatever. That's how they get you. You'll ignore everything else because Princess Leia's titties are all holstered up in some sexy outfit. She's getting paraded around. But it's like, what is it that's, it's like, why is like the fetishization of like a woman in chains too, though? It's like, that's the iconic image of that this poor woman's career is like built on, is her chained up by a fat, giant Harvey Weinstein looking douchebag named Jabba the Hutt. I mean, there's that's kind of the Hollywood. That's like the Hollywood metaphor right there, right? Jabba the Hutt with Princess Leia chained up. Except Princess Leia in the real Hollywood would be a 9-year-old girl. Ooh, that sucks. All right. Mountain Mama, what's up? Kim Andover. Kim Andover says, we're a good group. We can roll with anything. I haven't, Giota Short says, have you seen Solaris or Stalker? I haven't seen those. Robert Bresson, haven't seen those either. I'll have to check it out. Place Beyond the Pines. Heather Lore liked Place Beyond the Pines. Place Beyond the Pines was great, right? Let's see. Giotto Short says, I haven't seen Spring Breakers. I remember when it came out, I was in high school, and people didn't seem to understand the film. Yeah, it's like no one understands the film. People don't know what that's about. It's about demonic possession. It's about Harmony Korine. That's his name. Thank you, Harmony Korine. It's a film about the spirit realm, in my opinion. I mean, it's like there's so many levels you can look at it. You look at the esoteric level. That's what I think it's really about. And the last scene of that film just shows right there. The two girls driving out in the red Corvette. The other guy's dead. He's the one, he thought he was seducing them into his world. But really, they knew the entire time what they were doing. They knew the entire time because they'd been raised on the programming. They've been raised on the Disney programming, right? And the Britney Spears song, that was the real clinch. I mean, Harmony Korine, I guarantee if he sat down with me and had a conversation, he would know exactly what I'm talking about. He might not like what I'm saying, bring it out in the open. But who knows why people make certain films, right? That's the interesting thing about film is you can interpret it in so many different ways, and there can be so many layers of analysis. And sometimes the filmmakers don't even understand the depth that they're portraying in these films because they don't understand the forces that are flowing through them. Eslam says, I think Star Wars hype is driven by herd mentality. Oh, totally. For sure. For sure. And who owns Star Wars now? Come on, guys. This is Disney. More Disney programming. All right, what's up now? Let's see. Brian Street says, me and the clan are going out hunting woolly mammoth tonight for a true primal dinner. That's funny. I wonder how much we actually hunted mammoths, though. Right, there's smaller game to be eaten than fish and seafood. Gathering fish on the fishing is much safer than battling a woolly mammoth. Brian Street says I gotta watch The Thin Red Line. Yeah, The Thin Red Line is an incredible movie. One of the most visually stunning, just amazing films that I could ever imagine, and it's haunting, really, really haunting. Okay, Shaved Ape says Harmony Korine wrote and directed Spring Breakers while he only wrote Kids. Yeah, Spring Breakers was a fantastic film. It really was a good film. Total bait and switch, too. It was like marketed to the MTV crowd, and then it was just like up to them all. Just like, this is what you're doing with your lives. And who knows what his intention really was, right? Is he trying to reveal something to people, trying to raise the awareness, or just trying to rub people's face in filth like Hollywood likes to do? I don't know. But I thought it was a fascinating film, fascinating glimpse. All right. What else, guys? What's going on? Tristan says, everyone seems to be so obsessed with the whole ketosis and intermittent fasting that they seem to forget it's about being healthy and happy. Totally, man. Couldn't say it better. Shaved Apes says, my theory is that often a lot of the depth is invented by the viewer in their context. Sure, a person can view a rock and see a rock. Another will see a metaphor for life. Yeah, but that's just also like, that's a shallow interpretation too, because then you're just saying that everything is a projection. But there's other people who will pick up on the same thematic things, and there is a coherent symbolic language to reality. And when you start to tune into that, you start to see things differently. And that symbolic language goes beyond verbal language. And if I try to say any more, It'll be psychobabble. But you know what I'm saying, shaved apes. There's a symbolic language going on that people tap into, that people get. I think if you talk to Harmony Korine, he would, and brought up some of these themes in the film, he would definitely relate. And I mean, it's also known that like these people who are into, Hollywood films and all of this, this is just a shared projection. No, it's not. You can't just. Shaved Apes is trying to get into the whole solipsism thing. Everything is a projection of your mind, but that's patently false. I mean, you could prove that that's false just by looking at mathematics, right? It's like we have mathematical frameworks that allow us to create computers, that allow us to create this technology. That's all just a product of the mind, or so you would say, right? If that's just a projection of the mind, how are we able to create this interface and mechanisms and these high technology items just using mathematical theory, right? There's like the Mandelbrot sets, there's so much. It's not just a projection. Everything is not a projection of your subconscious, right? That's solipsism. And then that ends up with, I don't know, if you look at the history of philosophy and you study philosophy, that stuff ends up in tyranny, right? I mean, look at India, right? This complete solipsistic society. Everything is relative. Everything is Maya. Nothing is real. An entire country full of poor people starving on the streets, living in their own filth, worshiping the cows that are walking around them and not eating them. Right? Like that's what it results in. Solipsism. All right. What's going on, guys? Thanks for the comments too, Shaved Apes. Shaved Apes make music. Mutant Stoner, what's up, man? Let's see. What else is going on? Mountain Mama, what are you talking about, Mountain Mama? Mountain Mama says, please say, what's up, Maya and Malia, to my girls. Maya and Malia, hello, young girls. Keep those girls off of Disney. Keep them off of TV. Keep those girls well fed. Girls have life, right? You got an awesome life ahead of you. All right. Hey, Crux, what's up, man? Thanks for the question. You say, I test and weigh and track macros right now because it's new to me, and I get encouragement that I'm doing it so well. It keeps me motivated. Totally. Tracking, weighing food, especially in the beginning while you're building the habits, very important. He says, of course I want to be healthy and happy, but I'm not yet. I have to get there first. Then I'll stop worrying about it. All right. Yeah. Well, just get healthy and happy real quick, right? Come on now. Buy my product. It'll make you healthy and happy. No, there's no product that's going to make you healthy and happy. There's no diet that's going to make us healthy and happy either, right? Giota Schwartz says, I think what's beautiful about film is that it captures life. The mystery of life is captured somehow. Time is captured. It's fascinating, truly unique. It can be, right? It can be. It can be incredibly dangerous as well. I mean, it's a social programming tool. Yes, film is incredible. I love film. Like, I love analyzing film, making movies. I mean, I love it. Film has been my favorite medium of art since I was a little kid, right? And it's fascinating and it's new. And we get hyped on it, but it's also like we gotta be careful because film it's a social engineering tool, right? Hollywood is full of weird, creepy, perverted pedophiles. We all know that now. It's being whitewashed in the media constantly, but it's gonna come out soon. Hollywood is run by perverted pedophiles who are super into the occult. It's like there's been filmmakers like David Lynch who've been trying to show us this for decades for whatever reason. Right? So it's a social control mechanism, and the main goal of Hollywood is not just, hey, let's entertain the people. There's a lot more going on here. There's a reason why the Pentagon, why the Department of Defense is constantly consulting with Hollywood directors, with Hollywood producers. There's a reason why the military-industrial complex is so highly involved in creating advanced CGI. And all this stuff comes out of DARPA research project. It's a tool for social control, right? Film, media, television. Yes, they're a way to express abstract concepts and portray beautiful things. But at the same time, television, come on, the news, it gets used for programming, control, propaganda, and it's not there just to, give you entertainment. It's there to implant our minds with ideas on what reality is, on what our place in reality is, on what we're meant to be doing with our life. And it programs our mind, right? How much of our imagination, and this is something that I used to trip out about, how much of the imagination of most Westerners is just completely robbed and hijacked by Disney, right? It's like you look at people's like Halloween costumes and stuff. It's all just movies. It's all just movie characters, right? So you've got so many people like living through the false reality that's portrayed through the magic of the movies. Hollywood. So, yeah, I mean, you look at films like Metropolis, Mulholland Drive. These are more close to the reality of what film is actually about, what Hollywood is actually about, what these people are actually doing. Inland Empire, that was another crazy film. All right, so being healthy and happy out, a crux. It's too bad we can't just push a button and be happy and healthy, right? There's so much social programming, social engineering to make us feel empty, to make us feel unhappy, to make us feel unhealthy, to make us feel unwhole. It's preying on our natural, state, on our, I don't know how deep to go with this, but yeah, becoming healthy and happy is not a side effect of a diet. Just like, oh, I started keto and now I'm happy. Now I'm fulfilled. Now everything makes sense. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, right? But we've got to keep it in perspective. The diet's not going to make us happy. We can't turn the diet into an idol, right? But we can use it as a tool and as a stepping stone to taking responsibility for our health and for our happiness. For taking responsibility for our actions, right? For taking responsibility for how we maintain our vessel, our body, and our internal state. We've got to make sure that the things coming in through our eyes and ears and mouth don't make us feel, shitty inside. All right. Mountain Mama says, my girls eat well and don't watch Disney nor much television. No processed food nor grains, only the good stuff. Right on. Mountain Mama. Right on, Mountain Mama. Hey, Mountain Mama, do you have a copy of the Ketogenic Edge cookbook? Do you have a copy of that? All right, see, Kathleen says, reading Dr. Ludwig's new book, The Hacking of the American Mind. Really fascinating. Yeah. I mean, that's just the surface, too. That's just surface level. Brian Street, at a campfire, and would love to hear him rant about life, big film, etc. Well, thank you, Brian. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. That's what's up. Look, for people who come on here and you think I'm just going to talk about a ketogenic diet, I'm sorry. I'm talking to my audience. I'm talking to you guys. And I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. This is the thing. It's like if you're making content, if you want to build an audience, sometimes considering too much what other people think of your content, always, it degrades it. Or it puts a false layer on it. So I can't just sit here and be like, hey, guys, I love you so much. You guys, you're amazing. Like, you guys are all my best friends. Like, no, it's like I get in here and talk to you guys. We shoot the shit. It's all good. Caroline Moore says, I emotionally eat. Because that's something you can also help with if we do trading. I can't make you stop emotionally eating. Emotional eating is something that, I mean, it's just like addiction, right? Like anytime when we're changing our diet, we're changing our lifestyle and trying to get healthy, it's basically like quitting a drug, right? I mean, the emotional eating is just like drug use to hide from reality, right? It's just like we have something traumatic happen to us and we start using alcohol or drugs or sex addiction, pornography. All these things can be used to kind of fill that hole up. And food is something that's safe, socially accepted, and generally far healthier than drugs, alcohol, pornography, sex addiction, gambling. It's way better than that, right? But it still can result in negative consequences, and it can still be an addiction. Emotional eating is something that you got to get to the root of why you're doing it. And we've got to come up with strategies so that you can maintain a healthy mind state and make the right decision when the emotional eating triggers come up. One of the things that you can do, and you're asking about doing consulting with me or doing, so you called it training. I'm talking about doing coaching with me. I mean, these are things that I end up focusing on a lot more than just the diet, right? Like if I coach somebody, I could tell you, hey, eat this, don't eat that, eat this, don't eat that, later, bro. And that won't help anybody. So it's like you got to actually look at these things. I'm not taking on very many clients right now, so I'm not sure if we'd be a good fit or if I'm going to have time in the next few weeks, but I might be able to give you some tips right now. Emotional eating. Instead of emotional eating, we need to replace the habit, right? We have to replace the habit. What is something else we can do to help get control of our physiological stress response that happens that makes us want to eat? One of the most powerful things we can do is breathe through the nose, which for my entire life was closed up and I was mouth breathing. I had asthma, allergies, chronic inflammation, so much stuff going on in the body. And I didn't learn how to use my diaphragm properly. So what was your name again? Caroline. I want you to look into something called the Buteyko method, Buteyko. There's a video that's like 30 minutes long of a guy walking you through this basic breathing technique that's been used in Russia to treat chronic disease, to cure asthma, which I wish somebody taught me this when I was 4 years old, and whatever happened to me to send me into that traumatized state where I didn't want to breathe or live. And then I stopped breathing right. Grew up like that, just waking up at night, wheezing, emotional attachment issues, just crazy stuff. Little kid, right? So I wish someone taught me this when I was a kid, but oh man. All right, breathing though. The Buteyko method is essentially breathing through your nose into your diaphragm, slowly into the lower lobes of the lungs. We should breathe through our mouth as often as we put things up our nose. Hopefully you're not putting things up your nose very often. I did a few times in high school. Terrible memories of that. But really though, we should be breathing through our mouth as often as we eat through our nose. So breathing into the nose and connecting to the diaphragm, which pushes down, which creates peristalsis, which actually moves energy and lymph through the gut and helps us to digest, also is intimately connected with the brain, with neurochemistry. The olfactory senses are really, really important. So focusing on smelling more, breathing through the nose slowly into the lower lobes of the lungs to actually increase your oxygen levels. Look up a video, I think it's called like anxiety and breathing, or the link between anxiety and breathing. Buteyko, the Buteyko method for increasing carbon dioxide retention and oxygen retention, right? Because we want, like a lot of people are into the Wim Hof thing, right? That can be a really interesting tool for retraining the breathing, but it's a stress breathing, right? The Wim Hof method is hyperventilation, but it doesn't actually result in what we want. It doesn't always result in that. It has its benefits. It's one method, but you can't be doing Wim Hof method all the time. It's like you can't do that all the time. My nose is stuffed right now with all this change in the weather, whatever cold is going around town. But yeah, breathing into the lungs, breathing into the lower lobes of the lungs, and breathing through that stress response is really important. Listening to what's around us. Noticing things around us, feeling your hair, feeling how the air tickles your face. Feeling how the air tickles the little hairs on your hands. Smelling. Just getting focused, being in the moment. Just being mindful of, a lot of people call it mindfulness practice, stuff like that. Really, really important. So focusing on breathing, eating before you get super hungry, right? So this is something I always teach clients is you strike before the iron gets hot. You eat before you're hungry, right? So instead of waiting, intermittent fasting and waiting till 12 o'clock to eat when you're so hungry and then your satiety signaling doesn't hit you right and you overeat, wake up in the morning, eat first thing in the morning. Healthy protein and fat meal with vegetables. At least 30 grams of protein. Eat that protein meal in the morning. That's going to signal leptin. You're going to have better leptin signaling. You're going to have better satiety throughout the day. And you're going to be less inclined to emotionally eat because you're already not hungry. But in those moments when the emotional eating would start to come about, we've got to come up with strategies to become aware of the automatic reactions, because that's what it is. The emotional eating, the addictive tendencies, whether the addiction is drugs, alcohol, prescription drugs, right? Oh, I'm not addicted. I just take Oxy every day. I'm not one of those junky pot smokers. I take my Xanax and Zoloft every day. It's like, the addiction can be food, can be porn, can be sex. It can be anything that fills that hole that we've got. So instead of going into the addictive cycle, we want to become aware. We want to become present. We want to make a choice. We want to actually look at what is it that's making me anxious? What is it making me afraid? And then keep probing. Why? Why? Ask why. More whys. We need more people asking why and less people asking how, right? Okay. All right, Mountain Mama says, I can't do that intense, stressful breathing. Only the chill version. Yeah, the chill version is the Bucheco breathing. All right. Sweet. Mountain Mama. All right, Mountain Mama, you don't have a copy of the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. You're talking about your daughters eating healthy food. I'm inspired. I'm stoked. I usually don't do this. Sometimes I just give one copy away. Sometimes I give none away, but I'm going to give you a copy of the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, a training manual for low-carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. The subject of this is going to be, what were your kids' names again? It'll be, hey, ladies, because you mentioned you got two daughters. What was it? Maya and Malia. All right. Here is your download link for your copy of the Ketogenic Edge cookbook. I want you to check out some of these recipes. Number one, Mama's Best Meatballs. Take that recipe and you can use 50% beef heart and makes it 50% deliciouser. Also, you can add a little bit of you can buy a little bit of add a little bit of what's it called, liver, which is a great way to get your kids to eat organ meats. Putting them in those meatballs, you could even put a little cheese on it. Sometimes leveraging good foods with cheese is really helpful for the kids. But yeah, I hope this inspires you guys to kind of expand your repertoire of food preparation with simple, delicious foods. Ariel Sanford says you both did a great job on that cookbook. Jessica did it. I just wrote some words before the chapters. She's the one who put that together. She worked on that for over a year and a half. Heather Lore says, I want to buy you a chair so you could sit during these sessions. On my standing desk. I got a chair. Check it out. I just don't like to sit so much. I like to move around. But right now I'll sit just for you, just so you don't feel like you have to buy me one. All right. Donna says, so glad I found you on YouTube. I'm 62 years old. Have lost 25 pounds since September 1st. Lost 6 of those on a cruise. That's so rad. Right on. Who's here, Jessica? Okay, somebody's here. Speaking of breathing, have you looked into the Wim Hof method, says Acrux. Yeah, look, the Wim Hof stuff can be really cool. The Wim Hof stuff can be Heather Lore's funny. The Wim Hof breathing method is not a stress reduction breathing method, though. It's a stress induction breathing method, and some people freak out when they first try it. All right, so the Wim Hof method is really, really the Wim Hof method is really, really strong. It's real powerful, and I wouldn't really recommend jumping straight into it. Actually, you know what I find? Most women who are under a lot of stress or have chronic anxiety, females who have chronic anxiety tend to not really like the Wim Hof method. Kay Jordan's bouncing. See you, Kay Jordan. Have a good one. I should probably leave soon too. I've been talking all day. I did a podcast earlier with Keto Connect, and it was great talking to them. Oh man, I just pulled up an internet tab, and it had a picture of has a picture of the paint that I'm about to paint my truck with. All right. So yeah, I've been talking all day, guys. I think it's time for me to start wrapping this up. I don't really see any other questions here. George says, I was sick and vomiting after a week of keto and had to stop, but I want to start again with blood work done. What test should I ask for from the doctor? Why were you sick and vomiting, man? I mean, what's going on there? I mean, are you not digesting fats? Was it an enzymatic issue? Or were you eating way too much fat? Were you eating fat foods that didn't agree with you? That's concerning. I mean, I'm glad that you're so determined, but maybe it's just better for you to do more like a low-carb diet, man. All right. What's going on? Let's see. How do you spell that breathing method again? Buteyko. Buteyko. Mountain Mama says, that's very generous. I was going to buy both of your books as my 5 payday month gift to myself. You're so nice. Mountain Mama, now you get to save that $20. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, share it with your kids. I mean, it was a family project. And when we made that book, Ariana was a really important part of this development. And we tested all them recipes on her. All right, let's see what else here. Snoo World says 50% ground lamb heart and 50% ground beef burger is my poison. Or your medicine. D says, happy to see the new baking book coming out. That's right. All right, guys, let's start wrapping this up. The new book is coming out on Friday, but for all the loyal viewers who are always joining us on these live events, for all the people who get notifications, who sign up for our newsletter, go to our website, primaledgehealth.com. We'll send you a super top secret special link so you can actually get it ahead of time. That's going to be tomorrow. So, yep, we're releasing it on Friday, but there's going to be a pre-sale for only the most hardcore of our homies out there, and you can get that tomorrow. So, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. You can find more at primaledgehealth.com. I want to thank everybody. Mountain Mama, thanks for hanging out. All the individuals who enjoy this, thank you for your questions, for your comments, and for just dropping in and saying hello. For those of you who were offended by my dislike of Star Wars, understand that Return of the Jedi was my favorite movie as a child. It was my favorite movie when I was a little kid. I loved it. But sometimes we got to grow up and see reality for what it is. That movie is corny as hell. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. PrimalEdgeHealth.com. Get off of social media. Get off the YouTube even. Go outside, enjoy some time with your loved ones, and go enjoy your life. If you're looking for the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, that's available exclusively right now at PrimalEdgeHealth.com. The Ultimate Guide to Low-Carb Baking is going to be released on Friday. But those of you who sign up for the newsletter can get it early, and that's tomorrow. So yeah, check out primaledgehealth.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you can get notification of that and notification beforehand before these future live events. See you guys next time.